Excuse me, that's my book.
Your book?
Yes, I left it here.
Oh.
Thank you.
I saw you last night in Pimlico. You spoke to me.
That's right. Perhaps I should introduce myself, Mr. Harvey. My name's Chris Daly.
Chris Daly. Then you wrote that article, the one about Jill Foster.
Jill's a friend of mine. By sheer coincidence, I was passing the hospital when the ambulance arrived. I could hardly believe it when one of the nurses told me that it was Jill.
And last night, was that a coincidence?
Well, what do you mean?
Was it coincidence that you happened to be in Pimlico when a man called Larry Voss was murdered? Was Voss a friend of yours?
No, I never even heard of him till last night.
And what were you doing near his flat?
I was tailing someone.
Tailing someone?
Yes.
Oh, I see. And the person you were tailing just happened to visit Pimlico last night, is that it?
That's it.
Who was this person?
Oh, can't you guess? I was tailing you. I've been tailing you for the past 3 days.
Why are you interested in me?
You're a very interesting man,
Would you answer my question,
Mr.
please?
Harvey. For 3 reasons. Firstly, because of what happened to your parents. Secondly, because I have a shrewd suspicion that you wrote this book, which, incidentally, I've enjoyed really enormously. And thirdly, because
Excuse me. If you'd like to come this way, I'll take you to see Miss Foster.
Thank you, nurse. Please wait for me. I'd very much like to continue this conversation, Miss Daly.
Mrs. Daly.
Mrs. Daly.
So should I, Mr. Harvey. I'll wait.
Thank you.
Are you all right?
Yes, thank you.
I'll be back shortly, but if you should need anything, just call me.
Thank you for the flowers.
How do you feel?
Better than I did, I suppose.
I've just been talking to a friend of yours.
Oh, Chris.
Yes.
Do you know Chris, then?
No, we've just met outside. I understand from Harris you don't know who attacked you. You didn't actually see the man.
Yes, that's true.
Well, I've got news for you. Somebody called Larry Voss.
I've never heard of anyone called
Wait a
Larry.
minute, Jill. Voss is dead. He's been murdered.
When?
Last night.
Who shot him?
I don't know. I was hoping you'd be able to tell me. Well?
So many people hated Voss. He had so many enemies. I'm sorry, I can't help you.
All right. Let's talk about another of your friends.
Voss wasn't a friend of mine.
Peter Bradford is.
Yes.
Is it true that you went to him for help?
Yes. I was worried and I thought he might be able to help me.
In what way?
I wanted to disappear for a little while, and I knew he had a cottage in the country. I thought I might be able to persuade him into letting me stay there.
Did you persuade him?
Yes, I did. He said I could borrow it for as long as I wanted. I arranged to meet him there last night, and we were going to spend the weekend together.
Why did you want to go into hiding?
I was in trouble. I still am.
With the police?
Yes. Well, no, not just with the police.
Listen. If you'll tell me the truth, if you tell me exactly how much you're involved in this affair, I'll do everything I can to help you. Who were you frightened of? Voss? All right. Oh, by the way, I found this in your handbag.
They're not mine.
Oh, they must be.
I hardly use matches. I have a lighter.
Yeah, I know, but this isn't a book of matches. No.
This was in my handbag. Where did you find it? Where did you find my bag?
It was on the floor of my flat. I think you dropped it when you were attacked.
And what else did you find in my handbag?
Nothing else of interest.
Someone must have put them there.
When?
I don't know when. Unless Voss returned to the flat after we'd left for the hospital.
Ever been to this pub?
No, never. Don't even know where it is.
What about these phone numbers?
They don't mean anything to me. And I've already told you more than once I don't know anyone called Hogarth.
All right. Jill? You tell me the truth, please. About my mother and father. Where exactly did you take them after you picked them up from the airport?
I can't remember.
You told me that you took them to a house outside of London.
I can't remember.
Where was that house?
I can't remember.
You were going to tell me. You would have told me if it hadn't been for Voss.
Please. Please leave me.
Okay. If you change your mind, you want to talk to me, you tell the doctor. Why did you take the boy to Pennymore?
Boy? What boy? What on earth's Pennymore?
It's a house near Guildford. My parents lived there.
Did you ring for me?
It's all right, I'm leaving.
The lady you were talking to, Mrs. Daly.
Yes?
She asked me to tell you that she had to leave, but she'd try and telephone you later.
Oh, thank you, nurse. Hello, Mr. Bradford.
Ah, hello. How is she?
Not too bad, considering.
Good. I suppose you asked her
She
about...
confirmed what you told me, if that's what you mean.
Good.
Do you know a man called Voss?
Larry Voss came to the garage once. He wanted to see Jill, but she was out on a job. We stood talking. About cars, if I remember rightly. He had a Porsche and was thinking of selling it.
Why did he want to see Jill?
I don't know. He didn't say, and I didn't ask him.
You were right. Jill is in trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Ah, well, she hasn't confided in me.
But you must have some idea.
My parents have been murdered. I think Jill knows who murdered them and why it happened. She picked my parents up from Heathrow and took them to a house outside London.
Did she tell you that?
Yes. But unfortunately, before she could tell me where the house was, Larry Voss arrived on the scene.
Oh, I see. And now, I take it, she refuses to talk.
If you're fond of her, Mr. Bradford, make her talk. You sure this is all you want? Just a tonic?
Yes, thank you.
Well?
I want some information about your father.
What do you want to know about my father?
I understand he used to work for one of the large insurance companies.
That's right. He retired about 4 years ago.
Would you say your father was a wealthy man?
Good heavens, no.
Well off?
No, I wouldn't even say he was well off. Not these days. My mother inherited a certain amount of money when her brother died.
What do you estimate your father was worth?
I really don't know.
Well, hazard a guess. 20,000, 30,000, 40?
Maybe 20, excluding the house.
Which was bought when?
About 25 years ago. Look, I'll know more about my father's affairs tomorrow morning. I'm meeting his lawyer.
Who are his lawyers?
Adams, Smith and Gilbert. George Adams, senior partner, was a friend of my father's. They used to play golf together.
Tell me, Harvey, why did your parents travel up to London instead of going straight to Heathrow? I mean, surely from Guildford there was no need to come to London.
Oh, very good, Harris. I've been wondering about that, too. Probably because my mother wanted to spend more time with me.
Well, look, forgive my asking, but were you on good terms with your parents?
With my mother, certainly.
And your father?
Well, to be truthful, there were times when we didn't quite see eye to eye.
Oh, in what way didn't you see eye to eye?
Well, he was very much a loner.
What, aren't you a loner too, Harvey?
Yes, I am. But not in quite the same way. It's difficult to explain. He could be very friendly, very helpful, but I always felt there was some sort of a barrier between us. I think my sister felt the same.
And what about your mother?
Oh, she worshipped my father. I don't think there's anything she wouldn't have done for him.
Well, he was certainly a very attractive man.
Well, you knew him?
No, but curiously enough, when I saw that film the other day, I suddenly realized I'd seen him before somewhere. Just couldn't recall where. Then last night, just as I was doing my exercises, I remembered. I saw him at the Leopard.
The Leopard? You mean the club in Mayfair?
Yes.
Surely you're mistaken.
I'm not mistaken. I have a very good memory for faces. Besides, I made inquiries. It was your father.
What on earth would my father be doing in a place like that?
Well, the night I saw him, he was thoroughly enjoying himself.
Was he alone?
No, he had someone with him. Someone you know. Mrs. Randall.
My father was with Margaret Randall at the Leopard Club.
That's right. They had dinner together. Later on, they danced, and if my memory serves me rightly...
Oh, I'm sure it does.
They played baccarat.
The Leopard. That's run by a woman.
Kate Mellowfield. Very nice woman. Last person on earth you would expect to find running a nightclub.
What were you doing there?
Drinking tonic waters. You say you're seeing this lawyer, George Adams, in the morning.
Yes?
Well, question him about your father. Let me be frank with him. Ask him about Margaret Randall. See what he says. He may be able to throw some light on this Leopard affair.
Affair?
Well, affair, incident, call it what you like.
Yes, all right.
Well, I must be off.
I saw Jill Foster this afternoon.
Yes, I gather. It's funny, you know, when I started out by disliking that girl. She's rather won me over.
Had you ever met her before?
Before? Before what?
Before you were put on the case?
No. Why do you ask?
Excuse me. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
This is Chris Daly.
Oh, hello.
You got my message.
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry I had to dash away like that. I suddenly remembered I had an appointment.
I must see myself out.
Hello?
Yeah, that's all right. Perhaps we could continue our conversation tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow evening would suit me better.
Oh, fine. What sort of time?
Should we say about 6?
Yes, I imagine since you've been tailing me, you have my address.
Yes, I have, but I suggest you come to my place. Hubert, my husband, is dying to meet you. I think you'll find you have a great deal in common.
Oh. Well, what's your address?
Chelsea Gardens, number 11.
Number 11.
Right.
I look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you for calling.
Well, what are you doing in this part of the road, Mr. Harvey?
Hello. I've got an appointment in Guildford.
Yeah? I just come from there. I had an appointment too, with my wife.
Ah, yes. How is Mrs. Randall? Or shouldn't I ask?
Oh, by all means. The answer, I regret to say, will be unprintable. Destructive, damnable, deceitful woman. Who was it said that?
Congreve. Or Thomas Otway. Not sure which.
Yeah, well, whoever it was, he knew what he was talking about. You know, I can't get to grips with Margaret. I just can't. 1 minute she wants a divorce, next minute she doesn't. 1 minute she will agree to a settlement, provided there's no publicity, of course, because you see she's a very private sort of person. The next minute she threatens to talk to the news of the world. If you ask me, the only person she really got along with was your father.
How friendly were they?
How friendly?
Yes.
Just friends, as far as I know.
Were they having an affair?
What? Good Lord, no. Well, I don't think so. Forgive me, but what on earth made you ask that question?
Oh, I just wondered.
You must have had a reason, Mr. Harvey. Now, come on, come on.
A friend of mine thought he saw them together one night.
Well, that's possible, I suppose, but that doesn't mean they were having an affair, surely.
No, of course not.
Well, where did this friend of yours see them? In Guildford?
No, in London.
Where in London, did you say?
They were in the Leopard Club.
The Leopard Club?
Yes, do you know it?
Of course I know it. Well, I'm damned.
Thanks. Right.
I say, I wouldn't have thought the Leopard Club was quite your father's scene.
Neither would I, Mr. Randall.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's a perfectly respectable sort of club. As far as those places go. It's run by a woman named Katie Mellowfield.
So I believe.
Yeah, extraordinary woman. Always looks to me as if she ought to be in the Salvation Army. I wonder if Margaret was having it off with your old man. You know, it never occurred to me.
Morning.
I saw your car. I wondered if there was anything I could do.
Oh, no, but that's very kind of you. I was going to drop in on you, but I've got someone coming to see me at 11:30.
Oh, well, in that case, I won't.
No, it's all right. He's a lawyer, so 10 to 1 he'll be late. Come in, please.
There are some letters in the living room. I put them there last night.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think there's anything of importance. Would you like me to forward the letters? I could easily readdress them.
Well, that's very kind of you, but I hate to put you to any more trouble. You're doing enough for me as it is, looking after the house.
Oh, nonsense. It's no trouble, I assure you.
Come through. Oh, Margaret, a friend of mine told me my father took you out to dinner one night. To the Leopard Club, of all places. Is that true?
No, it isn't true. And you can tell your friend, whoever he is, that he's been sadly misinformed. Your father did not take me out to dinner.
He didn't?
No. The boot was on the other foot. I took your father. One day I begged a lift from him. On the way out to town, we started talking about restaurants, and I asked him if he'd care to have dinner with me that evening. He'd been awfully kind to me on more than one occasion, and I thought it was an ideal opportunity to repay him.
You chose the Leopard Club?
Oh, yes, I did. And for a very good reason. Katie Mellowfield, who runs the club's a friend of mine. I hadn't seen her for ages, and I knew she'd be delighted to see me again. I also had a shrewd idea that she wouldn't let either me or your father pay for a single drink, let alone the dinner, and I was right. That is precisely what happened.
I see. And a good time was had by all?
Well, that's one way of putting it.
I bumped into your husband this morning.
Oh, where?
On my way here. I gather he just left you.
Yes, he just left me, all right. What in God's name I ever saw in that man, I shall never know. He's quite the most insensitive creature I've ever met. He knows I'm pretty hard up these days, so he spent the best part of an hour telling me how badly off he was. And then just as he was leaving, he had the audacity to say, oh, do come and look at the new rolls, Margaret. It's super. I could have killed him. But let's not talk about my husband. I've had enough of Walter for one day.
No, I'm sure you have. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, that's your visitor. I'll be off.
Hello, George.
Morning, Sam. Sorry I'm late. I do apologise. Should have taken that last phone call. It's a big mistake, always is.
I don't know whether you know Mrs. Randall, George Adams.
No, haven't had that pleasure.
Go along in, George. I'll be with you in a minute.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, how's that girl getting along? The one we talked about on the phone.
Jill Foster? Oh, she's getting better. I imagine she'll be out of hospital in a week or so.
The reason I ask is I looked at that photograph again in the newspaper. It's the girl I saw, I'm pretty sure.
You mean the girl with the boy?
Yes. She was driving the car. Would you, care to drop by later for a drink?
Well, thank you. Yes, I will if I have time.
Well. And how are you, Sam?
I'm all right, George. All things considered.
Thank you. You got my letter?
Yes, I did. It's very kind of you.
I can't begin to tell you how much I miss Jason. We didn't see a great deal of each other, especially during the last couple of years.
Yes, when was the last time you saw him?
Well, curiously enough, about a week before it happened. He came into the office one afternoon, quite unexpectedly, and handed me an envelope. That's one of the reasons why I'm here. There we are. Sam, if I'm not very much mistaken, you're going to be very surprised at what I'm going to tell you. How much do you think your father was worth?
Oh, probably 20,000, not including the house.
You're way out. Your father's estate is worth well over $500,000.
$500,000?
$500,000?
Well, that's what he said.
Sam, your father worked for an insurance company, didn't he?
That's right.
What was his salary?
When he retired, he was getting about 9,000 a year.
Well, how the hell did he accumulate $500,000?
I don't know.
Does his lawyer know?
No, he was flabbergasted when he discovered the size of the estate.
When did he last see Jason?
About a week before the murder. Apparently my father turned up unexpectedly at his office. He had this envelope with him sealed. He wanted Adams to look after. Now, have a look at this.
Is this your father's handwriting?
Yes, it is. Well, I guess it's a cipher of some kind. I can't make out a ten of it.
Well, if it is a cipher, and it certainly looks as if it is, we better let our wizard have a look at it. If he can't make head or tail of it, nobody can.
Do you know what I think? I think that's why my flat was searched. I think that's what they were looking for.
Could be, Sam. Could be.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Hubert Daly.
How do you do?
I saw you from the window. Do come in.
Thank you.
Trish is out, but she'll be back soon. Should be home any time. Now then, what would you like to drink? Don't say Scots, because we haven't got any. Beer, gin and tonic? Gin and tonic? Beer?
Well, thank you. I'll have a gin and tonic.
Splendid. That's dead easy, I hope. Look, just make yourself at home, will you?
Thank you.
Ice?
Please.
Slice of lemon.
Oh, you forgot it.
That's the point.
Did you do these?
Only the good ones. There you are. Cheers.
Cheers.
Fred is vodka. We're out of gin.
I prefer vodka. Well, I must say I congratulate you. They really are excellent.
That's my favourite.
Did you do this? It's the original.
I hope you like the jacket as much as I liked the book.
I did. I did indeed. How did you know I was the author?
Yes, I was afraid you were going to ask that. You see, one morning I was in Henry Schofield's office when you telephoned. He was so damn secretive. He insisted on taking the call in the outer office. I became suspicious. I told my wife. She made 1 or 2 discreet inquiries.
Oh, well.
But tell me, Mr. Harvey, was Dinner at the Zoo the first book you'd written?
No, it was the first one I didn't tear up.
Huh. Are you writing another?
Yes, I've just started one.
Oh, what's it called?
Tea at the Zoo.
Tea at... Ah, I get it. Dinner at the zoo, tea at the zoo,
Breakfast at the zoo, yes. But whether I'll stay the course, let alone my readers, remains to be seen.
Oh, you will, I'm sure. I thought Dinner was splendid.
Well, thank you.
Though how on earth you managed to write a book like that while you were still with the police, I'll never know.
Still with the police?
Yes. Oh, forgive me, but aren't you retiring from Scotland Yard in order to write full-time?
You seem to be remarkably well informed, Mr. Daly.
Not me. My wife. I understand that you're interested in Jill. Jill Foster.
Very much so.
Extraordinary girl. Absolutely extraordinary.
In what way?
Well, to start with, she saved my life.
Do you mean literally?
Literally. You see, a few months ago, Chris and I decided to buy a cottage. Well, here's Chris now. She'll tell you all about it.